keeping Mainers in their homes. That's the goal of the Maine Homeowners Assistance Fund, which is relaunching today. Bolstered by $50 million in federal pandemic aid, the fund is once again open for applications. It's intended for eligible households that have suffered a financial hardship related to COVID-19. There are a few more changes to the program. It's now administered by Maine Housing, which opened up an online portal to make the process easier to navigate. The maximum benefit per homeowner has doubled to $50,000.
Whether because of COVID, they had trouble making their mortgage payment or trouble making their other housing costs like their insurance payments or their property taxes or their utilities, just anything related to being able to stay in your home, avoid foreclosure, avoid utility shutoffs. And that's really what it's all about.
You can find the portal at mainehomeownerhelp.org. We've put a link to it on our website as well.